Okay, so yesterday we practiced going from standard form to slope-intercept form. Super easy because it's pretty repetitive, but today we're going to practice going from slope-intercept form to standard. And there are certain rules that we need to follow. So I'm going to just jump right in and we'll go over the rules as we see them. Yes, so they want me to... Well, so in order to convert, we are trying to get where we have ax plus by equals c. And the first rule of thumb is that we cannot have any fractions. So in order to get rid of a fraction, we want to multiply by that common denominator. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. Then once we get rid of our fractions, then we want to move the x over. So let me explain. If I look at number 1, okay, first, I see a fraction. That's a dead giveaway. So I need to get rid of this fraction. To get rid of this fraction, we need to multiply everything by the denominator. So the denominator here is 4. So I'm going to multiply everything times 4. So 4 times y is 4y. 4 times 1/4 just gets rid of that fraction. So we have x, which was my goal. And then -1 times 4 is -4, okay? So first easy step, get rid of your fraction. Now they want me to move my x over because it's ax plus by equals c. So I need my x and my y on the same side. So to move x here, since it's positive x, I'm gonna subtract x, okay? Now here is where alphabetical order matters because we always wanna put x before y. So instead of writing 4y minus x, it's -x plus 4y equals -4, okay? Now we're almost done because the last step is we need to make sure that the number in front of x, my coefficient, that x is positive. So because x is not positive here, we need to make it positive. To make it positive, we are going to change the signs of all of them, which is the same thing as taking everything and multiplying by -1. So, for instance, -1 times -1 is positive 1x. -1 times positive 4y is -4y. And -1 times -4 is positive 4. And this is my final answer. How do I know? Because I don't have any fractions, and x is positive, which is what we wanted. So let's practice some more. Number 2. They want me to solve for ax plus by equals c. So first things first is get rid of these fractions. To get rid of these fractions, we're going to multiply by a common denominator. So the fractions that I see both have a denominator of 7. So guess what? They have that in common. So we are going to multiply everything by that denominator. So we're going to multiply everything by 7. So 7 times y is 7y. 7 times 3/7 if I type that in, I want to show you, 7 times 3/7 simplifies to 3. So I end up with 3x because all we've technically done is just gotten rid of that denominator, okay? And if I do 7 times 5/7, oops, it simplifies to 5. So plus 5, okay? Now I want to move the x to the other side because I need my x and y to be together. So the opposite of positive 3x is to subtract 3x. Again, we want x to come before y, so it's going to be -3x plus 7y equals 5. And then my last and final step is to make sure that x is positive. Since x is negative, we are going to change all of the signs, which is the same thing as multiplying by -1. -1 times -3 is positive 3x. -1 times positive 7 is -7y. And -1 times 5 is -5. And this is my final answer. No fractions, and x is positive. Number 3. Number 3, there is no fractions to worry about here, so I can skip that step. The next step is to move x over to the other side with y. So the opposite of -x is to add x. So again here we want to make sure it's x before y. So it's going to be x plus y equals 2. And then we check to see, is x positive? And since x is positive, I am done. That is my answer. Number 4, they want me to solve ax plus by equals c. Well, right now, there's no fractions to worry about, so we can skip that step. Then all we need to do is move the variable x over to the other side where it is with y. So the opposite of positive x is to subtract x. Again, we want to write it as x before y, so it's negative x plus y equals 1. And then my last thing to check is to make sure x is positive. Since x is negative here, I want to change all of the signs, so I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1. I can't just change the sign of x and have it be okay. It's not. Everything has to change. So negative 1 times negative x is positive x. Negative 1 times positive y is negative y, and negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. So there is my final answer. Number 5, I see a fraction, so we first need to get rid of this fraction. So I'm going to multiply everything by the denominator, which is 3. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 1/3 is just 1x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Then we're going to move x by doing the opposite. So opposite of positive x is to subtract 1x. And since they want me to put xy, so I have to put negative 1x plus 3y equals negative 6. Then we check to see, is x positive? Since x is not positive here, we're going to change all of the signs by multiplying by negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1x. Negative 1 times positive 3y is negative 3y. Negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6. So there's my answer. Number 6, I see a fraction, so we first need to get rid of that fraction by multiplying everything by the denominator. So we are going to multiply everything by 5. So 5 times y is 5y. 5 times negative 2/5 x is negative 2x. 5 times positive 7 is plus 35. So everything gets multiplied by 5. Now we're going to move the x. So the opposite of negative 2x is to add 2x. Remember, they want me to write xy. So it's 2x plus 5y equals positive 35. Now I just check to make sure x is positive, and it is, so I can stop. That's my final answer. Let's keep going. A few more practice problems. Number 7, there is no fraction to worry about, so I can skip that step. I need to move the x over, so the opposite of negative 3x is to add 3x to both sides. Remember, x then y, so 3x plus y equals 1. And since x is positive, I stop. Number 8, there is no fraction to worry about, so we can skip that step. I need to move this 7x over, so the opposite of positive 7x is to subtract 7x. Again, x before y, so negative 7x plus y equals positive 10. Then we check to make sure x is positive. It's not. So since x is not positive, we are going to change all the signs by multiplying by negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 7 is 7x. Negative 1 times y is negative y. Negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. So we've changed all the signs, and now x is positive. Number 9, I need to get rid of the fraction, so I'm going to multiply by the denominator. I'm going to multiply everything by 5. So 5 times y is 5y. 5 times 3/5 x is 3x, and 5 times 10 is 50. I almost said 15. Then I want to move this x, so to move this x, I'm going to subtract 3x. Remember, it's x then y, so negative 3x plus 5y equals 50. I need to make sure x is positive, so since it's not, I'm going to change all the signs by multiplying by negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 3x is 3x. Negative 1 times positive 5y is negative 5y. And negative 1 times positive 50 is negative 50. So there's my final answer. One last question. I see a fraction, so I need to get rid of that fraction by multiplying everything by the denominator, which is 4. 4 times y is 4y. 4 times negative 1/4 x is negative 1x. Then I want to move my negative 1x over to the left, so I'm going to do the opposite, which is add 1x. Again, x before y, so x plus 4y equals, and then you look and there's nothing there. That's because these cancel, but numerically that's 0. Then we check to see if x is positive, and it is, so that means I am done.